Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy stream. Today we are doing a really cool donation deck list courtesy of the folks in the Pox Discord. We are going to be playing a Kroxa Pox deck list. So, Pox is normally a mono black deck, and a lot of times splashing is a little bit rough because you're playing manlands like Mishra's Factory and wastelands that are colorless sources. But this deck has gotten a touch greedier in order to fit in a number of different things, including one card that some people suspected would be a Legacy player, but has basically seen no play, and that's Cleansing Wildfire. It's a 2-mana Stone Rain, but its controller may search their library for a basic land card and put it onto the battlefield tapped. And this cantrips. So if you're playing against something like Rug Delver that doesn't have basics, this is a 2-mana Stone Rain that draws you a card, and that can be extremely powerful. Unfortunately, current Legacy has a lot of basics, especially in the snow-style decks, so this card sometimes does have a real downside. But if you couple this with Sinkhole, Smallpox, Cleansing Wildfire, Wasteland, and modern, maybe not all-star, but modern playable card Shadow of Doubt, you start to paint a picture of a very strong mana denial package overall. Because we are in red, we can get access to some removal that maybe... Let me rephrase that. We can remove some permanent types that we normally couldn't remove. So, Angar's Rampage is something that lets you go and remove a Planeswalker, which is a really big deal. And it also can get rid of artifacts, and that's not as big of a deal, but every once in a while answering something like an Ether Vial is just absolutely huge game, and very, very important to everything that's happening. I don't know that I have too much else to say about the main deck. As far as the sideboard goes, we do have some sweet cards like Opposition Agent and Culligan's Command that normally wouldn't be making the cut here. Pyrrhica's Libation is one that you might know. This is a mono black card that lets someone sacrifice a creature or enchantment. And again, we have the ability to get rid of some permanent types that we normally couldn't get rid of. YouTube folks, if you are excited about this, please consider taking a moment to click the like button before we get going. And if you're not subscribed to the channel already, please consider it. I'm shooting to get to 3,000. We're racing Brian. Now, Brian doesn't know this yet. I haven't told him, but we're hoping to win the race and then announce it afterwards. I mean, definitely don't go and sub to Brian's channel either just to spite me. That would be very rude. Just kidding. Brian's great. All right, let's hop into some matches. Okay, so we're looking at a pretty good opening hand here. Assuming our opponent either plays a creature or a non-basic land. And Thoughtseize can punch a hole in whatever our opponent is doing. Plus, we're going to look like Red-Black Reanimator for a hot minute. Okay. So this is a decision point where I have to choose, do I take the thing that is probably going to kill me, which is natural order, or do I take the thing which can do a hell of a lot of damage earlier? Glimpse of Nature is not good with their hand as of right now. But with a Wirewood Symbiote in play, it can become very strong. I have no other discard currently, so I think I'm going to take the natural order and plan on eliminating whatever the first creature they put into play is. Just like on-site tag it. basics does the Elves deck play? We'll find out. Not now. Not now, but later. Yeah, to catch YouTube up, we've been chatting about like vaccine related stuff because I'm getting vaccinated the first round of it this weekend. I think my opponent is likely to have about 3 forests. I think I lose out on very little by casting this first Cleansing Wildfire. Most of the lists I played in the past had 2 or 3. 3 is the answer, but it cantrips at the very least, so like that's fine. The next turn I have the ability to Chandra plus for mana, and then like blow up a land. Yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy theories running around the United States right now between all the stuff going on in the Capitol and all the vaccine stuff. It's kind of a wild time. I mean, like we can remove the kinda. It's just a wild time. Nathan, thank you very much for your continued support. Hope you're doing well. I think this is the first time we've played Cleansing Wildfire on stream. Not 100% sure, but I think so. Do I want to show Wasteland? I don't know that I want to show Wasteland. uh... All right. We're going to a lightning bolt, which is pretty good. The next turn, I probably have double removal available. That may or may not actually be good enough because, like, Glimpse of Nature is a hell of a drug. Oh, that's bad. Oh no. I'm not so much on board wipes, right? Not in the main deck. I have 1 Plague Engineer, 1 Toxic Deluge in the sideboard. Yeah, my opponent is going to be able to make a wee bit of mana. And this is kind of like the rock and the hard place situation, where early in the game I took Natural Order because, like, the fear of my opponent just casting that and ending the game immediately if I can't pressure them is terrifying, but Glimpse is just as bad. There are... I don't want to say, like, good vampire decks, but there are established vampire decks in other formats. I know there's a black-white, like, I think it's like Vampires and Clerics deck in Historic that might give you some ideas. Obviously, the power level will need to be scaled up, but if you're looking for a starting point, that might be an okay place to go. Morning. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here in terms of, like, winning the game. I'm actually doing really well today. The work week was a little tiring and stressful, but like I get to pick up a vaccine this weekend, which maybe means that I can return back to work in person at some point, you know, next month or the following month if that's something that ends up being a good idea. Um got some cool things coming up for the channel. I don't know that I've talked about this yet, but next Wednesday, the 13th, I will be streaming Vintage with Joe Dyer of MTG Goldfish fame. And we're going to be playing something very, very spicy. Yeah, Martinez, I think at this point I can just like safely scoop. My opponent pretty easily kills me with Allosaurus Shepherd next turn and can protect it via double Wirewood Symbiote. Yeah, I just I think that's good. I don't have game one sweepers, which is what I really need to combat this sort of happening. All right. Opposition agent can stop searches, which is great. Plague Engineer is great, as is Toxic Deluge. And things that kill creatures are probably good enough. I think since my opponent has a handful of basics, the Cleansing Wildfire is kind of a hard sell. The land destruction stuff is fine for taking out Gaia's Cradle. But I kind of need to keep the board in check. I think the way that I theoretically win this is keep the board in check and hit them approximately 3 times with Kroxa. I think that's the game plan. And I think Shadow of Doubt shutting off a search for a natural order or a green sun is probably about as valuable as Sinkhole. I'm looking at cutting Sinkhole, Smallpox here for these last 3 slots, I think. Smallpox is, like, theoretically great in some cases, but my opponent can rebuild faster than I can. And if the way that I intend on winning the game is by resolving something that costs black, black, red, red, blowing up my own lands is a touch spooky. I think I am going to trim Smallpox and 1 colorless land. I think having access to a Smallpox in a game is probably fine, but I don't know that I want to draw multiples. Nathan, a heuristic that I have for sideboarding with Death and Taxes is that if I drop below 20 creatures, I'm uncomfortable. Like, 20 is where I feel like I am creature light, but it's still acceptable. And if you fall below that, I am just not really comfortable. Now, that's my minimum line, and if you're going to be sideboarding into non-creature things, you probably want to have more than just that. I think I want the Smallpox here, actually. Alt. So this smallpox looks pretty good. We clear a creature, we clear a land, got another land out of hand, and it doesn't really hurt us. Next turn, I can just play Mishra's Factory and then Sinkhole, because Urborg does weird things like that. And then I eliminate whatever cool creature they have, and then hopefully I've found something else to do. That something else to do could just be Mishra's Factory beats, but I'm hoping for more than that. Unfortunate. This is our opponent's 4th land. What if they pass and we Shadow of Doubt them? Oh. Crop rotation for Cradle is cool, but not super, super relevant right now. It'd be a great turn to draw a red mana. Hey, sweet. Oh, I suppose I only have 2 modes available. Just discard and shock, and that's why it's not giving me options. I assume the Windswept Heath goes down here. Yep. So I have 2 more removal spells available. Wow, Elvish Visionary is so good. For Gaia's Cradle-based reasons, I'm just going to take this off the table. I need something that provides some source of card advantage. My opponent is going to come out ahead if I just keep 1-for-1ing them. Ugh. Alright. I don't think I like the sound of gambling on natural order. That just sounds like I lose to that a huge portion of the time. It's like fetch Dryad Arbor into, I don't know, an Archon or a Progenitus or something. Probably just beats me a huge portion of the time. I don't think I can leave that floating around. The Visionaries are annoying, but they're not something that threatens to end the game. Like, if this caliber of stuff is on the board, I can just, like, rip a Kroxa, attack for 6, 3, maybe 4 times, and that's fine. So my opponent can crop rotation for Gaia's Cradle, tap it for 3, Dryad Arbor is 4, natural order. Inverted Ninja, thank you very much for your continued support. I do appreciate it. Alright. Is your last card Natural Order? It is. That is unfortunate, and we are dead. I think effectively dead, though. I think I get another turn. Toxic Deluge X equals 10! No. Alright, well. I only have 3 mana available this turn. I take 10, maybe 11 damage this turn. And then that means I can't Toxic Deluge as an out. Thoughtseize. Well, I can make a 6/6 and then die, but we'll go ahead and just call this one. Rough. Alright, we have a sort of classic-looking Pox hand for game 2 here. Ignore the Lightning Bolt. Otherwise, everything here is pretty normal. I am not sure which land I want to sacrifice to Smallpox. I am just going to lead on Swamp and pass. I suppose should probably be Snow-Covered Swamp if we're being real, but I didn't think of that. I didn't adjust the deck list at all. I don't think I want to have access to an Urborg. I'm gonna like very easily have black already, so I don't want to be giving my opponent the ability to tap their fetch lands for mana. When playing Moon Prison, how do you deck build to avoid the all lock 0 win cons hand? Oh, it's not about deck building. It's about the heart of the cards. You just have to believe. You have to believe in Red Prison. If you register that deck and you don't believe in it, you draw bad hands. You just have to believe. You have to go like, this is the perfect deck for the weekend. You submit Moon Prison, and then you like 7-0 the Swiss and win the event. That's what I did. In all seriousness, the deck doesn't actually play like that many lock pieces, and it's totally okay if you don't have a win condition in your opening hand. Like that's fine. I think casting the Smallpox is more important here than casting the Lily. Where's your Arkham's Astrolabe now? So it'd be clutch if this resolves. We getting rid of Lightning Bolt here, since Angrath's Rampage can get rid of an Oko that comes down. Yeah, a big part of playing Red Prison and doing well is figuring out what list you should be playing at any given time. Red Prison is a deck that really, really, really needs to adapt for the metagame. So right now, the thing that's popular and seems to be doing well is being hyper aggressive with things like Fireflux Squad. But in the past, I've played versions that are meant to hate on combo, and so you're running a bunch of Lotus Petals in the main deck so you can accelerate out your win conditions and lock pieces sooner. Oh, interesting. They did not choose to discard or to make me bounce my Liliana. Interesting. Barry doesn't get to bounce Planeswalkers? Alright, well, okay, that's fair. That is how the card works. I just always get wrecked by this card. I assumed it did everything. Really feeling the lack of red mana right now. I think I keep this Lily around for another turn. There's a world where I just like ultimate here and then sinkhole a remaining land. Like split Teferi in 2 lands versus 3 lands. And then just sinkhole one of the remaining 2 lands. This spot's kind of interesting. This is really awkward to discard this, but I can't cast it. And I think I'm going to sandbag this sinkhole for a turn and cast it next turn. Like, I know it can resolve now, but I'm pretty likely to get better value out of it by casting it next turn after I've ultimated Liliana. A red-black filter land is not crazy. That is how it works. Like, create a situation where you discard your thing that kills a planeswalker, and then that happens. Alright. We couldn't have cast it anyway, but... We're gonna put Oko... with maybe Island... tapped Trop. I think I like that. Okay. Nathan, you can pull it off the video. All my deck lists are in the video descriptions on YouTube now. I think I just need to cycle this, unfortunately. I need to find something that matters. Like, I really need to make land drops. In my opinion, high star. Do I want to cast this? It takes my opponent off of another land, which is cool. I know I can't cast it this turn, but it's a question of, like, is this better than one random card in their hand? And I think the answer is that it is. So I don't think I'm activating Lily this turn. I can take them off of the last land, then they can't cantrip. Another issue is that, like, when Kroxa comes back, Kroxa is an elk. Yeah, I think we're just gonna lose to a single resolve 2019-2020 card. I just think that's where we're at. All right. Why not play the land first? In case they fetch something in response, like say they have actual factual counterspell or something, and they fetch like a Tundra or a Trop to get it, then I get to surprise them with a Wasteland. Oh, right, I just cast Smallpox. No, that was just an error. Yep, I did that wrong. I was thinking about something I shouldn't have been thinking about. It worked out, but it would have been dumb. All right, red mana's cool. Actually, do you have to just like give up attacking this and hope to draw something that answers it? Maybe this is a draw a card turn. And I can still attack with Mishra's Factory afterwards. Yeah, maybe Oko Island was correct. But I still think the unchecked Oko just beats me unless I draw Angrath Rampage. I think I have one out. And this is one of the issues with these Pox style decks is once an opponent has something in play that generates strong card advantage, you fall really far behind. Oh, right, I do have eliminates, so I have 4 outs. Like, once opponent has, like, Oko, Uro, Dreadhorde Arcanist, or something like that, and it resolves and starts doing its thing, that's it. Game over, man. Game over. So I can get this out of my hand, activate it. That's unfortunate. That's another red producing land, but I'm dead on board unless I chump block with Mishra's Factory. And if I chump block with Mishra's Factory, then play Kroxa, it gets elked, and I then die on the backswing. Yuck. Cool guitarist. I hope you enjoy. Hopefully I do some cool things. Right now, we're just getting bullied. Alright. What do I like? Sure, yeah, like, if I do get to cast this Kroxas, things are great, but at the end of the day, I have 9 red sources, and I am looking to get red. That is a bit of a hard sell. I think I need Pyroblast for Okos. My opponent probably has a crap ton of basics, so Cleansing Wildfire is eh. Opposition Agent isn't great against Death Touchers. Uh, I don't think we're prepared for this match. Like, I want to be able to sideboard in a pile of like planeswalkers or alternate win conditions or something like that, and I just don't have them here. Oh, this hand looks strong. We'll keep this. We have red and black available, which is really good. Yeah, I mean, there's very few people who were like, Oko was a great design and one of the best things that ever happened to Magic. I think just about everyone's sick of the bullshit by now. God damn it. Fuck you, Oko. Fuck you. Yeah. Like, Oko has done so much to push out strategies. Like there are so many decks that I used to really enjoy playing that now it's just like I don't know if I can like realistically register that anymore. This is gonna be some shit because oh wow, I'm so surprised they didn't just discard Uro. Well, I'll take that. I'm very happy with that. Yeah. Um, there's a lot of great Dreadhorde Arcanist decks like Doomsday and Infect. And you might think I'm joking, but if you're active on Twitter, these are what people are seriously messing around with right now. I think I just want to Pyroblast and Narset when my opponent plays it. Yeah, I think that's my plan. Yeah. Uh The homogenization of the format is a little rough. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that resolves. Not what I wanted to happen. I mean, I've been on the that card is a problem train for quite some time. I think I can smallpox here. I don't think I pyroblast this. I think it's too important to save these cards for the cards that truly matter. Sorry, I didn't realize I had accidentally resized that window at some point. Wilt is interesting. Wow, Cleansing Wildfire got Force of Negation? Pitching Narset? That seems insane to me. Maybe they didn't read the rest of the card. Alright. We have blown up a tropical island, which hopefully keeps our opponent off of casting Uro for one turn. Then I can blow up another tropical island. Another Planeswalker. I guess sequencing is somewhat interesting here. Alright, so we've probably taken off our opponent from Uro in the short term, but in the long term, my opponent is just gonna like draw Astrolabe and then get out of this. Actually, I could just kill that. Yeah, let's just try to kill that. It's pretty damn punishing if my opponent does have the removal spell, but they have drawn exactly one card, and they might not be able to fetch the appropriate color of mana. So I want to take them off of probably white. I will discard this eliminate, and then my opponent will. Oh, did you have, like, force a will? That's unfortunate. I was about to say, I'm going to discard this eliminate, and then my opponent is going to top deck an Oko, and I'm going to lose my shit. So I am probably dead to a Plains... Well, no, I can probably beat a Planeswalker. My opponent probably can't find Planeswalker and a spell to defend it with one Brainstorm. But I am going to be dead to my opponent probably finding another piece of green mana. I've blown up 2 tropical islands, so that means there's a handful of things that can't actually fetch for that. Oh, wow. My opponent has 3 basic islands? Oh, no. Okay, so they have 4 basics total. So they are out of basics. Prismatic Vista is not a land. That's actually really good news for me. Wait, Diplomas, thank you very much for following. Hope you are enjoying the content. I'm going to fetch to Thin here, and I'm going to get a basic mountain on the off chance that my opponent is doing something that I care about. That involves basic lands, such as, I don't know, Ruination or Back to Basics or something. I will take Brainstorm here. Fingers, MLD, thank you very much for following as well. That Lightning Bolt might be helping to just end the game. I need to keep it around to potentially help answer a Planeswalker. JK. Would you like to burn your force of will? You would not like to burn your force of will. Happy New Year, Spatula. Nice to see you. Hope all is going well in the world of Enchantress. Yeah, we got some fire in here. That's for sure. So now that I know my opponent has only 4 basic lands, maybe I bring in the other Cleansing Wildfires. Can I just, like, trim a land or two? Is that reasonable? It might be reasonable. Game's gonna go long. I need double red too much. I probably can't trim that. Oh, I missed one somewhere? Oh, there was a basic plains. 5 basics. I still think I like the idea of trimming some lands. Shiz87, thank you very much for following. No, I don't think Shadow Doubt is particularly good on the draw. But I think I just want gas. And is this good enough to keep? Might not be good enough to keep. Or that 2 lands is immediately punished. I'm gonna keep this 6. I think having multiple answers to Planeswalkers is kind of a big deal versus my opponent's deck. Spatula of the Ages, a handful of people have been talking on Twitter about cascading into Tibalt. Wait, hold on. Big Black Legend that comes into play off fetch lands? Sorry, I thought you were going to be talking about, like, the black creature Tibalt thing. I haven't seen whatever that is. Alright. I boarded out some lands. This would have been a land. Have been punished. Since I have so many answers to Planeswalkers in hand, I think I'm okay with just, like, firing off that lightning bolt very liberally. We're not getting Planeswalkered this turn, which is good. I only need 2 mana to function with this hand. We're not gonna get it. This is going to be a miserable death. 4/5 with menace, it comes into play from graveyard every time an opponent sacks a permanent or discards a permanent card. Interesting. Alright, I control a swamp. That's the good news. I don't expect my next couple of spells to really resolve. My opponent hasn't done anything proactive, so they're probably sitting on things like Force of Negation. Worse, we could just get, like, Veil of Summered. Yeah, deck is interesting. Currently unsure whether or not deck is good, but deck is certainly interesting. I don't know how opponents should be fetching. Like, I don't know if they're supposed to fetch basics or non-basics because they have both Wasteland and Cleansing Wildfire to be thinking about. I don't really care about this Relic of Progenitus, but it blowing up my stuff and me having to click on it every turn is a little annoying. I think I'm just gonna plan on holding up Shadow of Doubt in this turn cycle. Ball Breacher is quite good. We're going to just eliminate that. I really hope I get to snag a fetch land with Shadow of Doubt. That is such big game. Lol, 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 lol. I had 4 mana, I could Cleansing Wildfire plus Shadow of Doubt at the same time. But I don't. I think I'm just gonna hold up Shadow of Doubt. Cleansing Wildfire is currently fixing for my opponent. It gives them a color that they don't have access to. I think I'm gonna ponder, hoping that they find a fetch, and I get them with Shadow of a Doubt. Very set. Shadow of Doubt. No A in there. I don't know. It does feel like an Ashiok would be good in this deck. Oh, fuck. Astrolabe is so incredibly good here. So is hitting a non-fetch land. Kind of a disaster of a turn cycle, honestly. Like, opponent got a 2-for-1 and got double off color very easily. I just Thoughtseize that away. I think I need to Thoughtseize that away. That's super awkward. It uses my mana very poorly. Cool. Alright. We're gonna be dead to that. Not literally, but I think effectively. Like, my opponent is going to get to Astrolabe, which turns on most of their spells. That I had otherwise taken them off of. Glad you enjoyed it. Maybe they just have no gas and I'll be lucky. awkward that these are sorceries. Everything's sorcery. I'm gonna pass and try to get him with Shadow of Doubt. I mean, this is the setup for it to happen. Black, black. Let me have this. I need this. God damn it. Nothing good for me. My opponent getting bored and popping the relic is one of the best things that can happen to me at this stage. But sooner or later, they're just going to spike a Planeswalker and I'm going to die. They're going to have to defend it through 2 of these. But in another turn or 2, I have to just use one of these to take an Ice Fang Coatl off the table. Which is not ideal. Okay. So we probably lose to that. We did blow up the basic no-covered forest, so maybe I can keep them off of it. Oh, no. I have to answer that this turn. JK. And I answer that, and then they end up getting Uro, which I can't actually beat right now. Maybe I have to answer the Uro first by blowing up this land. This little thing sitting here is a huge nuisance. Alright. I think I'm dead. I've thought I've been dead for a while, but I think this is the turn cycle that actually does me in. God damn it. Alright. That means that Uro hits play this turn. We're dead. Alright, round 3. I'll be keeping this hand. We get to lead on Thoughtseize into Thoughtseize. Kind of the Sushi Loam deck that I was just talking about uses Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth to turn all lands into swamps, and then starts destroying them in order. God, I was about to say, we're so fucked if I'm playing against a Wasteland deck. I'm going to take Force of Will. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm going to try to like pretend to be Black-Red Reanimator for a minute and hope that my opponent ponders instead of Wastelands me this turn. Fuck. Alright, we're dead. It seems like we're losing to our own mana a lot. The 8-ish colorless sources, plus needing red for a lot of these spells, plus not being able to fetch basics with a lot of hands, is a rough combination as a whole. And like, now we also need black. So this isn't even live if I rip a land. I think I am going to be figuring out what deck my opponent is on and then conceding. Rug Delver. Bottom with that. I already know that Misty was used. Might be the case. And that's a shuffle. I don't know that I can beat either a Tarmogoyf or a Dreadhorde Arcanist that hits play. I will take them off a land, whereas I have 0. Doesn't really look good for the home team. Opponent is cantripping like crazy. Maybe we can dig out of this, but it's bad. This is a lot of wheel spinning without deploying a threat. That's interesting. Perfect mana base. We lost our opportunity to just thought, fuck me. Days? They force a will at least 2 for ones them. I think it has to be days. Oh god, double bolt. I am dead so quickly. I suppose there was an argument for taking the Force of Will, because if I rip red source, I can lightning bolt. No. No. No! Alright, mana problems aside, the Delver deck on multiple Force of Wills / Dazes and triple Wasteland, hard to beat, even if they didn't have the pressure for a little while. What is this sack? Is this creature? It is creature. Alright. You kill dudes. You kill dudes. You kill dudes. And you kill dudes. So these are the things that I can think about. Shadow of Doubt seems slow. Sinkholes and Cleansing Wildfires seem slow. Like, the mana destruction aspect is cool, but I think I win this by pointing removal spells on anything that blinks and killing them. It's possible that some of these situational cards that I'm bringing in are less good than Cleansing Wildfire. But I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, Spatula, I think a lot of people are at that point where they've either sold out of paper or sold out of Magic Online, and they're like, yeah, I'm good with just doing one of these. The amount of unrest and dislike for the last maybe year and a half of Legacy is pretty high. There are things to like about the format, and there have been some really cool spots in the last year or so. But it's I can't even say beginning to grate on people. It's just grating on a lot of people at this point. Just a lot of non-games where a singular snowbally card just takes it over. Yeah, this is another hand that just kind of has mana problems, right? Like I can't cast 4 of the spells in my hand right now on a 2-lander. I think I have to ship this. Like it has powerful cards, but like my wasteland can get wastelanded and then I do nothing. And is much better. I will keep this. But I think I'm gonna have another game where, like, in order to have access to red mana, I open myself up to wasteland and get super punished for it. The new set doesn't really look busted to me. New set looks pretty fair so far. Yep, we're just getting wastelanded out of this game again. Yeah, Red Splash is feeling absolutely horrendous as of right now. Leandro, thank you very much for following. Uh... Brainstorm Fetch, thank you for following as well. Oh god, I'm so dead. I have 5 uncastable red cards. If my opponent has to pay for their counterspell on 2 different turns, I think I'm good with that. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I spent a good portion of my stimulus check on some more stream upgrades. So there's a mic arm and a few accessories and a new computer seat coming. Probably by the end of the month. Shipping times are a little weird. But Amazon got a good chunk of my money the other day. Oh, we are not going 5-0. We are not doing so much with the winning right now. Oh, fuck me. Uh, yeah. Yeah. So I get to, like, pick whether I lose to Delver with 3 counterspells or lose to Oko. We're gonna lose to Delver with 3 counterspells. I don't think I have it in me to lose to Oko again. This is when you just scoop. Yeah, maybe this is just like dumpster time where we pack it up. Just move on to the next round. Hope to do the thing there. I guess with this lightning bolt in hand, I'm pretty dead. Smerzenskin, thank you very much for following. Hope you're enjoying the concession. Alright, I don't want to beat the dead horse here, but we have to mulligan another hand due to bad mana. This hand also has bad mana. I think it's towards the end of the month. And Wiltron, thank you very much for following. On the draw. Alright. Let's draw a black sorcerer die. January 28th, thank you, the Hackbert. I think I would be willing to try more black cards instead of red cards. I think this mana base has been pushed to the absolute maximum. Well, no, let me rephrase that. I think this mana base has pushed too far to the point where the cards in the deck aren't castable. And I don't think more fetch lands helps. I think this is just a case of a deck that cannot reasonably be splashing. It's... God. Why? $964. Thank you very much for following. Well, in days of old, I would take this card, knowing that I could maybe grind things out in a longer game, but fuck that card. We can't beat that card. Counterbalance is also going to be a disaster. Counterbalance on 2 is just going to be very good against what I'm doing. Like, do I just wasteland myself now and end my misery? Uh... So, like, not every stream is a banger, but I do learn things, and I do show off valuable lessons from every stream. And the lesson of this stream is there's a limit to your greed. Don't be too greedy. Unless you're playing blue, then being greedy is totally fine. Fuck it, do it. You can't stop me. Oh, good. I'm glad taking my opponent off of a color was a good and reasonable thing to do. I'm glad I have these wastelands, which have eliminated all of my opponent's lands and left them with nothing. One person top 8'd an event with it this weekend. Last weekend, I guess. And so people are trying it again. They're just trying to get this off of Shadow of a Doubt. I'm gonna try to get that fetch land off Shadow of Doubt. The original deck list that top aided, I think, was pretty questionable. It had like very few lands and like a main deck pithing needle. I I think the deck idea was interesting, but the specifics looked pretty bad to me. Just fetch, damn it. I'm getting this fetch land. Nothing else matters except getting this fetch land with Shadow of Doubt. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. If I make increasingly more hype faces at the camera, maybe it'll resolve. Damn it. Is it happening? Alright, well, we got a 2-for-1. That's at least cool. I don't know that my opponent still has this force of will. I find it likely. If my opponent just plays, like, threat and then backs it up with counter magic, I'm in trouble. How do I play this turn? Turn's really awkward. Everything's 2-drops. This line sucks if my opponent has a 2 on top or can brainstorm a 2 on top. But if my opponent has to force of will, this is my best line. Alright, we got a Planeswalker out of the deal. That theoretically means that this is likely to resolve. Snoopy Magic! Thank you very much for following. Hope you enjoy Dreadheart Arcanist going to the graveyard as much as I do. The only thing I like more than killing a Dreadheart Arcanist is sending them to exile instead. I mean, that's not true. There's very, like, specific things that I can do that I like better. Like Dark Ritual into Opposition Agent and grabbing a fetch land. That's obviously better and more fun. But as far as, like, regular day-to-day interactions, taking that thing off the table is beautiful. And I can't even fucking double spell on 5 mana because of these wastelands. And I can't necessarily flash Kroxa back next turn either. Fuck. Like, being able to use Kroxa as a test spell to see whether or not some of my stuff resolves would be so nice. I need to sinkhole and target planes, because otherwise they could return the land with days. Alright, force pitch the days. Oh no, the end is not near. This game is going to drag on forever. I mean, yes, I will take that volcanic island. Alright, opponent has Teferi on top. How much loyalties on that sucker? 4, so I can't lightning bolt and kill it. Immediately after assembling my like red, black, am I gonna smallpox away one of my own lands and discard a card? Yes. Yes, I am. Otherwise, the Teferi is kind of a problem. Yeah, that's exactly why, Hackbert. If my opponent gets to draw a card off Teferi, keeps something around that I have to use a card on, otherwise it threatens to bounce this Kroxa. It's just rough. Daniel, thank you very much for following. Hope you're enjoying the content. Alright, so I get to get rid of the Brainstorm that's in their hand. Sorry, the Teferi that's in their hand, leaving them with Brainstorm. Things are actually okay for me. I need mana, but maybe I get there. I'm probably going to use this Brainstorm as a test spell. So I'll do something like end of turn, Lightning Bolt them. Oh, holy shit, that's really good. The Green Speed, thank you very much for following. I'm going to go ahead and Lightning Bolt them. Alright, Source of Plowshares on top, so no need to fetch for Shadow of Doubt. Kroxa? Kroxa's awkward with Source of Plowshares being on top of the library. I guess I just have another to try again later. I can go for the Planeswalker. Opponents used a decent number of force effects already. They do have dazes, though. Go with the Planeswalker. If this causes my opponent to fetch away the Swords to Plowshares, that's a win for me. Dino Cat, I'm actually going to be playing Vintage on stream next week. Oof. With Joe Dyer of MTG Goldfish. I am looking forward to that. We have a very nonsense brew that we're going to be playing. Oh, it resolved. Holy shit. We'll see if I just get like Council Judgmented or something instead, but oh yeah, everything gets uploaded to YouTube. It usually takes 24 to 48 hours to get up, but everything makes it there. Well, this is stuff. I think I just start with uptick this. Cleansing Wildfire? Honestly, I think the damage is better. Alright, opponent had a counterbalance on top, so Cleansing Wildfire absolutely would have done nothing. Who of the casters is the biggest spike? I mean, we're all very clearly in the spike category. Like, we all very much care about competitive Magic. I don't know that any one of us is considerably further down that road than another. I don't think I cast that. It's awkward that I can't, like, do both of these in the same turn cycle. I'll just keep trying this till it works. A Monastery Mentor. That's a game-changing card that I don't want to see on the other side of the table. Alright, opponent junked a counterbalance. And then gave me a bunch of life. I don't think I can take a risk of casting a spell. If that spell gets countered and my opponent has like a daze or something like that, it's so disastrous for me. So I am going to go ahead and just minus and kill this, take absolutely no risks in this turn cycle, and then be sad because I can't make quadruple black this turn and double spell. Well, plus this, both Smallpox and Shadow of Doubt are kind of at this point, but Smallpox has lose a life on it, so I'm going to keep that. And discard Shadow of Doubt. Alright, my opponent has conceded from the game. What a slogfest. I actually do not believe that we won that one. I think we got a little... Actually, I don't know that I get to say that we got a little lucky. We overcame some really bad mana-based problems there. Plague Engineer for Monk seems good. Abrade for Arcanist seems good. Deluge seems fine. Like, the issue is I can board in things that answer my opponent's creatures, but they're a control deck at the end of the day. And I don't have more bombs to bring in against them. Which is rough. Like, I might need to bring in Pyroblast because they answer the Planeswalkers, and that's kind of like my only way I can interact with the control portion of the deck. Like, Firika's Libation? Libation. And get rid of Counterbalance, but I might need a couple more answers than that. So, like, I have cards that I can bring in, but, like, all of this stuff is I don't think I'm gonna bring in the Abrade. Griefig, thank you very much for following. I think this is what I'm looking at doing. The Barrow Labier, thank you very much for following. I think I'm going to eliminate some of my off-color cards and some of my black cards here. Oh, this is definitely spicy legacy. Powerful legacy, consistent legacy, but spicy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we're spicy. This will be a keep. Gee and Geese. Geefig. Okay, got it. Yeah, so it's always so hard to tell when you're just given, like, a username, what language it's supposed to be, and how you're supposed to pronounce it. Especially as an American, because we don't know how to pronounce anything correctly, even in our own language, so... it's tough. Yeah, English pronunciation is a nightmare. Like, I say this as someone who is a native English speaker and also a language teacher. Like, this language makes no sense. Alright, does the game end on turn 2? We will find out. Oh, great, it just resolved. I think I'm gonna get rid of Firika's Libation. I think the rest of my cards are too valuable. So I know English, Latin, and Ancient Greek very well. And I've, like, dabbled at the hobby level in, like, Japanese, German. I took a semester of French in grad school and went to France for about 2 weeks. So I would not call myself proficient by any means, but I'm good enough to read signs. I can read signs in French extremely well. Like, I can go to a museum in France and just, like, understand everything that is in museum descriptions. And then someone is like, "Parlez-vous français?" And I'm like, oui? And I don't go too much deeper than that. Well, I'm cutting myself a little hard there. But my, I swear to God, if you Shadow of Doubt me, I'm gonna lose it. I hope you're just fetching around Shadow of Doubt. Yeah, and that's like my strength in museums. Like, because I have such a good vocabulary base from knowing other languages, even if I don't understand the grammar, I know what those words mean. You ever feel like you're being ghosted? That's a really interesting play. Like, if surgical comes in, isn't that 100% specifically for Kroxa, my recursive graveyard-based threat? It seems very strange to sinkhole. To surgical sinkhole there. I'm not saying my opponent is ghosting, but if things look weird from here, I'm going to be aware of it. Multiple surgicals is also an explanation. Smallpox. Punchers, the ghosting that you can confirm happens very rarely. It happened more when I first started streaming. Like, when I first started streaming, and I was a small-ish streamer, but, like, big enough that, like, when I was streaming, people knew it. I got ghosted a lot. And now, like, I have a very good, established, um, identity as someone who cares about community and who has, like, a very strong, like, anti-ghosting stance and stuff like that, and it's happened almost never now. So, like, ghosting sucks, and when it happens, it really kills off motivation to, like, stream at all. But it's very rare. It's also very difficult to confirm ghosting. Like, our opponent took a weird line, but not a, like, this is absolutely crazy, you Cabal therapied my one of in my 99 card Yorion pile deck or anything like that. I mean, there was one really bad stream where my opponent hit, like, blind Cabal therapies like 5 times, and it was just like, we know what's up. Yeah, and this is why, like, we're having a conversation about ghosting. We're not battering opponent for ghosting. Like, there is the possibility that that's something that's happening, but I can't confirm it. Like, it's a weird play, but it's not unreasonable. Oh yeah, if I ever confirm that someone is ghosting, like the next 30 minutes is me ripping them to shreds. I am a very big believer that people who do something to hurt a community have no place in that community. Rough. But if you're putting someone on blast for ghosting, you've got to be damn sure. We're gonna play that around days. I'm gonna cast the Deluge here. Keeping the Eliminate for Planeswalkers is nice. Fuck me! No! Oh, we're so fucked. We're so fucked. The 3-drop on top was absolutely savage there. So now my opponent can, like, cantrip into a land to Blood Moon, which takes me off of double black as well as my man land. I think I am stone cold dead if they hit this land off Brainstorm. Yep, that should do it. I have Chandra Torch of Defiance as, I think, a 2 of. That's very good. Alright. That's lucky. 1 drop on top. Get fucked, nerd. I think they're supposed to put... Oh, they have a Force of Will. Oh, but it's on top of their library! Yay! Okay, so now they just have 2 lock pieces in play. And have perfect mana. Luckily, they don't have any tap-out threats in their deck that can just kill me easily. Oh, no! No! I think we're getting surgicaled again. My opponent has stopped in the draw step. Yeah, but don't accuse people of ghosting lightly. Like if you suspect it, throw out the idea, but like don't put someone on blast unless you're real sure. So as a good example, my co-host Brian Koval once recorded a match playing against me before we really knew each other all that well. And I made a brilliant play. I don't remember what it is, but it was the sort of play that you wouldn't make unless you've been playing like the deck for years and years and years, and like you really know the ins and outs of the matchups. So like I made a brilliant play that played around exactly the thing that would have beat me that was in his hand. And he accused me of ghosting. And I sent him a message and I'm like, hey, here's the video of me talking through why I did the line that I did. And he was like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. Sorry about that. There's a world where I'm supposed to make my opponent sacrifice the Blood Moon, but I think I'm dead in too many worlds if I don't try to remove the Mentor here. Even a Brainstorm just ruins this, though. Do I have a second Toxic Deluge? One? I can draw Plague Engineer. Plague Engineer would be really good. Good mountain. All right, let's throw in the towel here. We have another game to play. Do I bring back in Cleansing Wildfire so that I can target myself and get basics under Blood Moon? Only half joking. Yeah, I don't think shaving a Wasteland is crazy. I think I will shave one for an Abrade to have one more answer to Dreadhorde Arcanist or Mentor. Good call, Brainstorm Fetch. I like it. All right, here I am. I'm picking up the nice like keyboard pad that I rest my wrists on, and here I am beating the shit out of the dead horse that this mana base is bad. Okay. Now that we've done that, we can continue and mulligan. Fuck me. What have I done to deserve this? Is this because I cheated on Thalia with like 700 other legacy decks? Keep? I don't think I get to keep Smallpox. I think I need to keep my lands. This hand is bad. Hand's very bad. I should have played Urborg on turn 1, by the way. Alright, we're dead. Have you tried out the Vintage Brainfuse Breach deck or the Legacy Enchantress deck? Yes, I have actually played a decent amount of Legacy Enchantress. There's probably 3-ish VODs from around the time when Destiny Spinner got printed. I put a decent amount of work into testing that deck. I have played against the Vintage Breach decks a decent amount, but I haven't piloted them myself. No, I think Breach is a good deck. I don't think Breach is like crazy. I think Breach is totally fair by vintage standards. It's like very good, but I don't go like, oh god, we're playing against Breach. My cards do nothing. All right, we have an uphill battle. I think I'm more likely to win this game on time than anything else, if I'm being totally honest. Never lucky. Oh yeah, Enchantress is awesome. Imagine being able to play everything that Vintage has to offer and going like, you know, I miss Deathrite Shaman. Let's do that. Um, I don't know. I never felt impressed by the bug decks in Vintage. I understand that they're a solid option that has a lot of game against everything, but I feel like Bug just so rarely has like the broken hands where you get to just vintage someone and take a freebie. And I think taking freebies is important. Oh, I don't know what Binding the Old Gods is, so I am excited about that. I don't know. I don't know that it makes sense to tap out for counterbalance in a world where you could just tap out for another threat, but like that deck has a lot of gas in it, and I guess it's reasonable to. Like when you have um things on the power level of Mentor and Arcanist and Hull Breacher that can kind of like take over games as a singular card. Maybe it's fine to play stuff like this. Okay, it's a new card, that's why I don't know it. Alright, I'll check that out later. This game is getting tight enough on time where I probably don't have the luxury of checking links right now. Alright, need to draw a 2-drop removal spell this turn? Or 3-drop removal spell. 3-drop removal spell is fine. And boy, it fucking sucks that I have to answer this Dreadhorde Arcanist right now, or it spirals the game out of control and I just lose. Otherwise, I would want to remove this counterbalance. But we're just gonna have to like jam spells into that for the rest of the game. This is how good these cards are. Like, you just can't leave this on the table for a single turn, otherwise it feels like you've won the game. What is this gonna be? Fun. Like opponent tapped the wrong way. They could have tapped the fetch land to pay for Mentor. Oh god, please, please, like, surgical something here. I don't get to play around anything at this point in the game. I just have to jam. Mentor is going to kill me in approximately 3 turns. Yeah, I don't know how this set is going to be for limited. It seems like, based on what I've seen from spoilers so far, there's going to be very hard funneling into archetypes and fights over archetypes. Super Tabs, thank you very much for following. Oh yeah, we straight up have trap cards. We have gone full circle. All right. Not being ghosted confirmed. Otherwise, opponent doesn't need to surgical there. All right. Which one of the busted cards do I kill? Both beat me. Mentor beats me faster, and my opponent has sub 3 minutes on clock. Accordingly, I'm going to do that. I don't think that I can win the game fast enough. Through what my opponent has going on here. All right. Always yield to that. I'm very excited for the standard players, though, who got another, like, big, dumb, broken Simic card with a lot of text. I know how much they like that stuff. Yeah, like, an uncounterable, like, basically indestructible snake monster creature seems rough. Yeah, it's like 6 or 7 mana, but the ramp in standard has been so crazy good. Don't know, Komi. Don't do anything like that. No, no. That's just rude. Mana Symbols, Daddy Cool S. Thank you very much for following. Hope you're enjoying the content. Can I smallpox? I really need Toxic Deluge. And I need my opponent to not have a pile of cantrips. Oh yeah, there's so many worlds where I'm dead one way or another. I don't think I can wasteland my opponent reasonably. Alright, my opponent didn't have a castable spell this turn. Let's see if they draw a castable spell now. I am dead to any castable spell. And I think I'm dead to most other things anyway. I need to kill 2 creatures somehow. Plague Engineer. Plague Engineer is the out. Alright. No. No, we're going out like this. I lose the most life this way on my own terms. Another viable line was activate castle and fetch in response. Round 5, we have a great opening hand with 3 lands, and what's that? No black mana! Everything's awful! As chat informed me, Pox is about suffering, just not necessarily for your opponents. We'll be mulliganing this one. That goes back. Yeah, I'll probably end up conceding this match. So, like, I will probably go 0-5 on paper, but we're going to see if I can win it. My hand is a stinker. I don't even think Astrolabe fixes this one. I think this is just an idea that needs to go back to the drawing board. Yes, I believe Astrolabe got reprinted. Yeah, Brainstorm Fetch. This list should really have the snow basics. I didn't make any adjustments to this list. I usually just play the donors deck list as they submit it. Yeah, so we have a giant pile of land destruction in this deck, but unfortunately we have none of it in this hand. So we're probably going to lose game 1. What? People are attached to basic land art that artists take so much time to make? That's crazy. Yeah, Give me like 2 mana, destroy all snow lands. Fuck 'em. I think I messed up. I think I was supposed to play a red or black land there for Kroxa reasons, but I was thinking about getting beats on with Mishra's Factory. I don't think it's going to matter. Our opponent is going to play big dumb stuff and I'm going to die to it, but I own up to mistakes. Yeah, we're looking at like Ugin or maybe even Olamog levels of mana next turn. JK, get smashed now. Get Golosed now. Raucous. I'm very glad that we get to actually answer the Golos before my opponent can start Caracas bouncing it and just get realistically infinite lands. I do think that a pushed Snow Hate card is totally reasonable. Like, it won't be main deckable. It'll be a sideboard card. And it will make snow cards have a real cost instead of just being totally free. Yeah, I'm sure the cumulative upkeep is fine. Your Thought-Knot Seer takes nothing of importance. Nothing. I really hope they don't have like a fat payoff card. Because I'm not going to beat it. I might not even beat this 4-4. I am at 4 cards in graveyard. I need another card in graveyard to be able to flashback Kroxa. Fetch land would be cool. Oh, Wasteland is beautiful. Hey, you remember like 4 turns ago where I talked about like my mistake about playing Mishra's Factory? I don't get a Kroxa this turn because of that mistake. Which is big game because the discard potentially keeps them off of something that's relevant. Three, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 mana. Everything except Emrakul the Aeon's Torn is on the table. Six mana. Endbringer. Walking Ballista for X equals 3. Ugin. Alright. I feel pretty confident that we're dead to that. I have 1 Angarth's Rampage as an out. You don't know that I like playing the Planeswalker and not immediately activating it? Oh, sinkhole, cool. I'm gonna play this Kroxa and hope that my opponent doesn't notice that they can just like bounce it back to my hand and not like care about it at all. I think they're just supposed to like bounce it and hit me for 7. Ooh, some sort of red, oh geez, what's it called? Red, colorless, deal 2 damage for each non-basic land your opponent controls. Price of Progress. Some sort of red, like, Price of Progress equivalent would be pretty good. Just, like, really give those red mages something pushed. Alright. We're dead. I can technically survive another turn, but I'm not getting out of this with both a creature and non-creature permanent in play like that. And in losing game 1, I think that likely loses the whole match for me, unfortunately. Is this creature or enchantment? Not planeswalker. Not super great on things for this matchup. My lightning bolts are really bad. I'm gonna get rid of those. Oh god, my eliminates are worse. Shadow of Doubt also not strong, but can occasionally get things that are very important. Yeah, maybe I should play an Edict over that Lightning Bolt and one of the Shadow of Doubts. One keepable 7-card hand? No, we're running like 24 or some bullshit like that. Well, today we're offering classes on mana bases. We're gonna take Golos here. My opponent can play out Grim Monolith, and I can destroy it with one of these 2 cards. Anger's Rampage is a sorcery, relevantly. I don't technically have to fetch to do this, but I want a Badlands in play anyway. I'm fine with cards being powerful. But I would like them to be, like, powerful and fun. And recent design has largely been powerful and miserable. This is slightly awkward. I think it's worth doing. But it's close. Or discard K command since I don't have anything to get back with it, and I'm not guaranteed to hit the... Well, maybe I can get greedy for the 2-for-1. I don't think I can get greedy for the 2-for-1. I need to keep the castable card in case my opponent draws Ancient Tomb, and goes like Ancient Tomb, Grim Monolith, and threatens something big the next turn. The first letter of fire is fun. Oh. Damn. That was very unclear to me. Man, I feel so smart for making exactly the decision that I did. Uh, uh, this is awkward. Now they just sacrifice the Manifold Key since it's already untapped, or a Monolith, and it's done its job. Maybe I'm even just supposed to, like, give up on attacking mana and, like, hold out to answer a creature or planeswalker with that. But I don't know how I win this game if I don't attack my opponent's mana. No, I count the Ren and 6 era as very different. So I think that the Ren and 6 era was really miserable for a lot of people on creature-based strategies. And then I think we got this golden period of Legacy for a little while right after the Ren and 6 ban, where like everything was awesome and good and great. And then like we got hit with the storm after that. Alright, we're dead to this Karn since I used Angarth Rampage as an edict for artifacts instead of planeswalkers. If I'm the opponent, I pretty heavily just consider getting Mycosynth Lattice here. You can play Mycosynth Lattice next turn through a Sinkhole effect. The Lattice is bad if I Lightning Bolt Karn. Liquidy Metal Coating to port me off red is also reasonable. Yeah, I guess we know about another City of Traders, so this line's pretty good. All right. I believe that means that we've done it. We've gone 0-5 in a league. So as far as what I have to say about the deck, it was bad. And sometimes you have to admit that you have an idea, and it's a cool idea, and then in practice it just doesn't work. There's no shame in that. But the mana base of this deck does not support casting the spells that are in this deck. And that is largely a sign of bad deck building. It's okay. Like, you can learn from this, but I don't think that you can make a red black Pox deck that looks like this work. You're essentially running a 3-color deck with extremely heavy mana requirements that also sometimes is blowing up some of its lands. I had very few ways to actually win the game as well. So, like, Liliana doesn't technically win the game. It's very good at keeping you from losing, but it doesn't win the game. So we're reliant on 2 Planeswalkers that we can't protect super well, and then Kroxa. And so if we lose something like Kroxa to Surgical Extraction, or if our opponent has a Relic sitting in play and we can't do that, it's very difficult to actually go and win games. So, it was enjoyable. You know, we had 100 people here for most of the stream, but I got bullied the whole time. All right, YouTube folks, if you enjoyed watching me get beat up, please click the like button. And if you're regularly on the channel, please click the subscribe button. It helps me more than you know.